South Carolina governor blocks the Biden administration from bringing unaccompanied children from the border. Governor Henry McMaster issued an executive order on Monday that prohibits the federal government from bringing unaccompanied children from the South Carolina into South Carolina from the U.S. Mexico border. McMaster issued the executive order in response to inquiries from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration of Children and Families about if the state had resources to place unaccompanied children in the state's foster care facilities and group homes. Michael Leach, the head of the Department of Social Services, told McMaster about the federal government's inquiries about taking children from the border and placing them there in South Carolina's foster care and group homes, according to a letter dated April the 8th, 2021. The letter stated, quote, South Carolina's children must always be given the first priority for placement into foster care, and the strain on the state's resources, they have to be directed to addressing the needs of its children, McMaster stated. He added, allowing the federal government to place an unlimited number of unaccompanied migrant children into our state's child welfare system for an unspecified length of time is an unacceptable proposition that we've been down this road before with the federal government before, and we always end up on the hook. The Republican governor further stipulated that the growing humanitarian crisis along the U.S. border needs to be addressed by the White House. Allowing an influx of minors into the foster care system would place a strain on South Carolina's social services capacity. The federal government strategy, McMaster's office added, will create a plan of financially incentivizing private providers in the short term, and that extent to the facilities would actually take on more of the people who are coming from out of the country versus taking the South Carolina children. The state may ultimately incur a long-term financial burden if families are not located in a timely manner and the federal government ceases providing direct support for unaccompanied minors, according to the release. According to the letter from Leach, at least 6 providers, private providers, have indicated interest in placing the unaccompanied children in the South Carolina area. But Leach's letter noted that as of April the 8th, no unaccompanied children have been placed in South Carolina's foster care or group homes. The executive order comes as a surge of illegal immigrants as they have amassed along the southern border and as the Biden administration scrambles to find housing for unaccompanied children. So far, 11 facilities have been opened to accommodate them. As of March 2021, the U.S. Customs Border Protection reportedly nearly 19,000 unaccompanied children are in its custody. Over the weekend, McMaster said that he went to Texas to visit the National Guardsmen from his state who were stationed there. He said, quote, at the border in Del Rio, where buildings were walled, has ceased, although the material has been paid for. There's no wall, but the material has been paid for, and this is unacceptable. This is one of those issues that's going on in the country right now. Most of the states are strained. They're not able to even allow their own children to have housing. And so this governor, kudos for him. And I do believe that there's one other governor that's saying, no way, we're not going to do it. We'd love to help, but we simply cannot. And I have to say, well, I don't disagree. If you divide the 19,000 babies that are, stranded here, and then you add them to any of those states, whether they be, South Carolina, Arizona, Texas, that's a lot on those states. They only have a certain amount of monies that are allotted for the foster care system in their states. And you all know that there are a lot of children right now in those systems within your own state, or if you're living outside of the country, such as Anthony Van Zandt and others, if those countries have that type of thing set up, where they have the babies are able to go or the children are able to go if they don't have any parents or something's happened, then yeah, that can be pretty stressful. So I just thought I'd bring that news brief to you all right quick, and let me know what you all think about that in the chat. I mean, you really can't blame him for thinking of his, state's children first. It's a terrible situation that all of these children are in the state that they're in, the physical state that they're in, and then it's even more taxing on some of the other states. Now I know that Iowa, their governor said pretty much the same thing. No, thank you. And so I'm sure that there'll be a lot of states such as California. I don't know what other state you guys think. California for sure, but I can't think of any other ones. Basically, that's going to be a problem. So let's just hope that things work out well. I have seen some video and seen some footage of some of the border situations with those poor children, and it's not a pretty sight. Really briefly, let's just say hello to Anthony Van Zant, just exploring every path. Oh, you are in South Carolina. Well, very good. Welcome. Love in the midst. It's always good to see you. Okay, folks, that was just a really quick news brief, and I just thought that it was interesting and an interesting read at that. Oh, you guys have a good evening, and I should be back in a couple of minutes with a couple of more stories, but that one did pique my interest, especially as a grandma. All right, you guys, take care.